Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om. Hello, my friends. You all are essentially, potentially divine. Nothing can touch that divinity. It is pristine. It is pure. Whatever happens, nothing can affect it. Then why should we do sadhana? Why should we do practice? Simply because we have forgotten it. We are not aware of that essential true nature. We are aware of what we are thinking. We are identifying with what we are thinking and doing, with the role that we are playing. Having forgotten that prior to that is that which makes the experience possible, ever pure, ever pristine, unaffected. We need not construct that. We need not reach that. We need not attain that. Sadhana actually is a journey to remove all that stands in the way. That's what we are busy with. Having a good look at ourselves, seeing what kind of tensions we are producing, seeing how we are covering up that purity, and then learn not to do so. Sadhana gives us the insight, gives us the clarity. That's why sadhana makes totally sense, even if there is nothing to attain. In the mind, it appears as if we are attaining a certain state, but actually that state is not a state. It's the natural way of existing that is always there. We just have to become aware of it. That's why I'm insisting on and on and on, relax, 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 let go. Nothing wrong with doing concentration exercises. May even strain sometimes for moments, but it's simply to help us to get a clarity, a clearer insight, an awareness of what's going on, and in that awareness of what's going on, more and more, it's obvious I'm doing all the trouble to myself. I'm creating my tensions layer upon layer upon layer. And the work is to become truly aware, to be honest, to stop making others responsible and see what is happening and learn to let go, learn to relax. Now, Marie asked the question. She said she won't be here today because it's Easter and there are so many services she's attending, so she's not trying to get up at 2:30 in the morning. But she says, recently, often she's aware energetically and there are tensions or something is a bit off. And then she gives the impulse to center and relax. And as I have often talked in context how to deal with emotions, to do so, She says, but there are no emotions, there's nothing particularly there, and wonders whether this is okay. Of course, it is okay. We don't have to wait for problems to solve in order to do so. By all means, center and relax. And this is happening on different levels. We can center physically and relax physically. We can center energetically and relax energetically. And if we do those two, then the emotional tensions and the intellectual tensions automatically also will relax. Now, even if there is not a particular problem in the mind, and if we see energetic tensions, which happens a lot, people are simply not aware of, then of course it's all right to do so. And she adds whether this is somehow diverting from relaxing and intending. No, of course not. Don't think you have to wait for a problem in order to do so. When there is a problem, it's a very efficient means to deal with that problem. Instead of trying on the level of the problems to go round and round and round, to redirect the attention, to center, to relax, to center, to breathe consciously and relax. It's a very efficient way of dealing with problems, but basically it's something that we can do all the time. And if there is the awareness on the energetic level, by all means, center and relax on that energetic level. And it's not restricted to certain times or certain situations that we can do so, but basically do that as much as you can. Whether you are active or inactive, whether you are alone or with people, whether you are talking or keeping quiet. Every moment we can center and relax. The more we are doing that, the more the attention sinks back home to our natural state. And of course, they are connected. Intent and relaxing. And relaxing is relaxing, whether it's then mainly focused on the physical or energetic level. Relax. In that relaxation, the tension goes. When the tensions go, it's like layers that cover up our divine nature are dissolving. And when there is suddenly the awareness, there is an energetic tension. Perfect, by all means do so. Don't think it has to be connected with an emotion or a thought or something else. You can deal directly on that level with that tension. See it, center, breathe, relax, and let it go. And even if we are not feeling tensions, it's good again and again and again to give us that inner command to intend. They belong together. We give with our intent, we set it in motion. And even if somebody is very much intentions and tries to relax, just relax, and not much is happening, not much is relaxing, still it does something. Sometimes people tell me, but it doesn't work, I can't relax. If one keeps on giving that impulse, gradually the relaxation is getting deeper and becomes more obvious and conscious. But even if we think it does nothing, just to give the impulse is doing. But sometimes people may have to go to very different, difficult periods where there is a lot of stuff boiling up from the subconscious, creating a lot of tensions. And then it may look like I try to center, breathe, relax, nothing is happening. Just don't give up because of that. Something is happening, simply too subtle for us to be aware of. And even if the tensions don't go in the body and energetically and mentally, instead of being then busy and turning the attention around and say, I'm tense, and it's a problem and I can't help it. If we, on the other hand, redirect the attention, center, breathe, relax, gradually those tensions will go. And even very heavy stuff, with patience, with perseverance, we can go through them, let them go little by little, and eventually it just disappears as if it had never been there. No matter how much one is in problems, how much one feels in tensions, behind that there is that pristine, pure, innocent divinity, never touched, never affected, unconcerned, and yet aware, making the experience possible. Learning meditation techniques, concentrating, straining may be perfectly fine. If one feels like doing so, it's nothing wrong. The process of learning it may be a bit a strain, but then gradually one should also introduce consciously that aspect of letting go, relaxing, letting go, relaxing. For in that way, the layers that obscure that divinity are slowly dissolving. It's not a heavy burden of a job. It's simply if in the mind, then I try to relax and get all tense about relaxing. And then it becomes a new burden that we are creating in the mind. But if we just gently give that impulse, center, relax, breathe consciously, center, relax, then things will start to dissolve all by themselves. There are different ways to do so. There are different approaches, but this aspect somehow has to come in no matter how we are going about it. Whether one is doing it more in a yogic, in a jnana, or in a devotional way, or with all the variants in between. If that aspect of relaxation is not coming, it's very difficult to let go. So, but I don't think there can be a mistake on no matter what level where you become aware there is a tension, there is something off. If you center, relax, that's certainly the good way to deal with it. All right, I leave the subject and I ask you, my friends, is there anybody who would like to come in? You're welcome.
Werner,
Hello, Niels.
good day. The rain has stopped, I see.
Yes, the rain has stopped. That was only a little downpour.
Well, here is also beautiful weather, so good. The spring is coming. What I was thinking while you were talking, what I find difficult, the mind is all the time, if there are negative emotions,
Yes.
saying it's because of your work, it's because of your relations, because of your children. It's always pointing at something.
Yes.
And this is endless. I mean, I remember one of the Buddhist teachers, Shantideva, saying, this is like trying to cover the world in leather, while you could also make shoes and not have all this tension of trying to resolve everything. However, of course, you cannot go through life if you're in a very bad situation and only think, oh no, I don't have to do anything. I mean, if you are in a job that's very bad for you, or a relation that is very bad for you, it may also be good to change something about that. But when is it time to say, okay, it's better to take action, or to just leave the mind alone? No, I'm not going to into all this solving. I'm going to just stay with what is.
This is the priority, to stay with what is. But there is absolutely not a contradiction between that and dealing with the external circumstances with common sense. We don't have to become incapable when we become more spiritually interested. Actually, if we stop taking it so serious, it becomes easier. But even when we feel a circumstance is really having continuously a bad influence, we can, for some time, try to deal with it by just detaching and bringing the attention back to the present. Anyhow, that's in no matter what circumstances, that's the best thing to do. But then if it becomes clear, a clear sentiment, not simply an intellectual giving the responsibility for my misery to somebody else, but simply because it makes sense, there is a continuous negative influence on a certain level, and why should I continue to be in the midst of that? If it's possible, I can get out of it, then why not? If it's not possible, then better accept it and deal with it as good as you can and become stronger and stronger in course of the process. You have to decide from your heart more than from your intellect. When I say from your heart, I don't mean emotionally, I mean deep down we are connected with the oneness, with the all harmony. And from there, actually, we know, we get the pointers, we get the impulses how to deal with the external circumstances. Simply, we have forgotten about it. We have become a bit insensitive about it. So we don't listen to that in those impulses. But the more you live like this, of bringing your attention to the present and learn to relax, the more you become also aware of those impulses that guide us, not necessarily all the intellectual calculations.
Mm-hmm. And maybe if you recently talked about somebody's daughter who had a problem with self-mutilation.
Yes.
Do I remember correctly?
Yeah.
So if this impulse comes up, like a negative emotion, and it seems like the right thing to do to cut yourself. I don't have this impulse, but I know other impulses I have. I find difficult.
Yeah.
So then the best thing would be to try to just stay with the impulse and not to give into it. Because
Right.
you know, common sense, it's not right to cut yourself. And even though it feels like the better thing to do.
Right. In such a case where the impulse is clearly totally opposing all your better knowledge, you can also be sure it's not coming out of yourself. It's somewhere on the psychological level we are creating that. That impulse I'm talking about may be very subtle and not so easily understandable, whereas this kind of impulse that somebody goes to that extent that they mutilate themselves, they are not subtle. And they are not coming out of what I call the heart. They are not coming from the self. They are coming from a distorted psyche.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, with all the impulses that come from an unbalanced psyche, it's basically the best way to do to just have a good look at the impulse, to watch the feeling that comes along with it and relax it instead of going along with it when it's becoming destructive. The self is never destructive. The self wants to express life and beauty and joyousness and not pain and suffering and destruction.
Right. It sounds easier than it is.
Right, of course. Then when somebody is in the situation that one is tortured in the mind and such impulses come, it sounds a Herculean task. It looks like a Herculean task. It's not, seems not easy to do, but having at least the proper idea to look in the right direction may already make it easier. Instead of then wondering, is it right, is it wrong, then just learning to step a step back and observe. If that idea is already there, it may make it easier. It may still be quite a job to work oneself out of such a situation, because in order that one is ready to cut oneself in to relieve pains or tensions, that means there must be an enormous amount of it. Otherwise, nobody would do so. Nobody would easily hurt themselves like that. So when there is already so much of those tensions, then of course, even if one has the proper understanding and looks in the right direction, it may not just go from one day to another. But if that idea is planted and we go about it again and again, then with perseverance, no matter what heavy stuff is there, it can be released.
Yes, but this I used to have a lot of problems with addiction, and this is also the same. You are really hurting your body
Yeah.
by smoking and drinking, and you don't do that if you have if there's not a big amount of pain that needs to be sedated.
Right.
But it doesn't help to run away from the pain. The pain needs to be there for some reason. If you don't allow it, it just grows.
Yes, with those means one tries to avoid it, momentarily it may function. If one gets drunk, then the pain may not be there for a moment. When you get out of the drunkenness, it's that much more. It's certainly never a solution. It's
No.
just postponing.
And creating another problem of having an unhealthy body.
Yes, right.
Yes. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Hari Om, Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Is there anybody else who would like to come?
Hello.
Hello, Leora.
You said a sentence like things will sort themselves out when you spoke in the beginning. Did you say that as I said it, or a little bit different?
I don't know exactly what I said in the beginning, but right, if you are in harmony with yourself, that things have the tendency also externally to sort themselves out much easier.
Yeah, this is what so I wonder, like when you say things, and also you use now the word externally, there's so much to be aware of and take care of. It's our reactions to what is happening, and yeah, that says it. So I just wonder what will sort itself out, because maybe I can take, like, be aware of my reactions, and then I can somehow not control, but through the awareness, the reactions will dissolve or soften.
At least if we are making peace in ourselves, we are not making the circumstances, the situations worse.
Yeah.
Because
but,
with unbalanced reactions, that is what is usually happening. It's just getting worse.
Yeah. So there's a lot to react to, because there are also, again, what we define external events, and what is going on in. I'm not sure if it's true the way I maybe it's all, as we say, a magic show. So it's all in the same perspective. So I just wonder, it's so many layers and fields that seems different, but maybe it's not actually different. Maybe it's only one thing that we have to like where we put the attention, and there's so many things I can't solve. I mean, specifically, of course, now I'm thinking about, again, Israel.
Yeah. Yes, of course, there are in manifest. Oh, sorry.
No, I just wanted to say that now I find myself actually crying every day at one, not specific period, but when I read the news, when I hear, when it like accumulates. Like yesterday, there was another terror attack, maybe two actually, and some horrible ways of people find to harm each other, horrible ways. And tourists that were hurt yesterday, one of them was killed. So it's actually it's horrible. It's like a horror movie, but it's, so I just wonder, crying is okay. Crying for me is okay, but when there is like despair and anger and like a sort of blackness, I say blackness over me, Yeah, it's a lot to take care of, to be aware of and navigate.
Right? There's a lot going on. And there, as you mentioned, there are different layers of manifestation, subtler and grosser. Psychological, our own, or psychological in our family or in our friends circle, external, political, whatever is happening. But in all the cases, that you get a healthy detachment, a healthy perspective. The most important thing is that you learn to get rooted in that present, in that timelessness of the now. Connect with your essence. And in that connection, after that, you deal with the different problems, with the different layers. Certain things are in your field of action and you can do something about it. On certain field things, you can absolutely not do anything about it. And then if it overwhelms you when you see what's happening and you cry, then by all means, cry. Simply that don't let the crying pull you into self-pity and despair and destructive emotions that simply hurt yourself. But seeing cruelty, seeing bad things can make you sad, but then you express it with crying. There's absolutely nothing wrong.
Right.
As long as we are crying simply to express the sadness. But if we then get into that dark spiral, then it becomes destructive.
Yeah, I'm not afraid of the destruction, like from, if I can say, my side. Also, there's no such a thing as their side and my side, but I'm not afraid. I don't feel I'm on the path of destruction. It's only, actually, you said now things that you said to me last week and maybe the week before. It all comes, I just need the reminder, I guess. It all comes to the same idea or way of living or moving around. Yeah, I guess I guess I understand the situation. I mean, and also I appreciate the tools that I have to deal with. It only feels very, very strange. Because I guess now there is like more work needs to be done. And I must admit that it comes easy for me. I don't make a deal of things like, you know, what the everyday things like. Also, there's nothing to talk about. Like, we don't talk about the situation with friends and family. There's nothing to say. So many things. So many people do talk about it. It's their job, but we just like, it also changes all the time. So it's really like, yeah, an experience and a challenge. Difficult,
Yes.
but yeah.
It's a intense situation. It's a chaotic situation.
Absolutely.
You see it mainly in Israel, but it's manifesting differently in different places. It's around the world. And exactly in these situations, it's that much the more important that we develop that clarity to connect that with that which is not affected by it. And the more you are capable of doing so, then even about the things that we cannot do anything about it, but you connect with a situation that is out there and totally out of your reach, you're very connecting with it. And in spite of that remaining centered, in spite of that connecting with the essence, you still do something about it. You're sending in that situation something very beautiful, harmonious, constructive.
Yeah, just one more thing to say, that I have been feeling that now I'm good dealing with things like that, the way you describe it. I mean, good, like good for me, well, like, and there's no way going backwards. There's no way going backwards, and yeah, so it's like it's a change. It's like somehow I'm changing, not I am, but yeah, it's like
that's the spirit.
yeah. So
right.
just like
yeah. Continue like that. I wish
okay,
you well.
Werner. Thank you.
Hario.
Hariom.
Is there anybody else who would like to come and say something? You are welcome. I've said just what I have repeated before to Diora. I've said it now often. It is a very special time. There is an intensity. It's like on a subtle level, there's a tremendous struggle going on between destructive forces and forces that look for peace and harmony. And everything and everybody is affected by it. And it's very easy to slip into a destructive mode. So it's even more important than at other times to retain that alertness. To just bring the attention back home. When we become aware, I'm all over the place, I'm thinking about things and getting sucked into stuff emotionally that doesn't help there, that doesn't help me, it just adds more tension in the atmosphere. Then just turn the attention 180 degrees and bring it back to the source, to that which makes the experience possible. It may not always work, but even giving the impulse is doing something. And the more we are doing that, the more we are contributing that this struggle can calm down and a harmony can more and more manifest. It makes our own personal life much easier. The more we are doing that, the more we are contributing automatically to the total, to the collective consciousness, the collective experience of humanity, of all life on earth. So it's good to get inspired, to remind ourselves again, if few people come together in the same spirit, to inspire each other, to support each other, but each one has to do it for oneself. And again, take the reminder, come on, don't get all worked up about no matter what is happening. The emotions may come for a moment, let them be there, observe them, let them go again, but you are here, unconcerned, unaffected in your essence. And then we can direct our concerns momentarily on levels where it makes sense, where we can do something, we do them, we let them come, we deal with the situation, let them go. Okay, I saw camera had lit up just when I started to talk. Ah, hello, Andreas.
Hello, Werner. Can you explain the turning around 180 degrees? or I mean, as far as I understand it, or like in my meditation, I more and more come to the conclusion that I just have to, I mean, stop being busy with myself, like always in a way thinking about my future, my pleasures or whatever, or concerns. And is this 180 degrees turning around? I mean, it's not like focus, is it focusing on something else? Like, or is it just dropping the concern with oneself and the own story and all the external concerns?
Right. That's basically that. When we see that we are getting all hooked up in stories, then the 180 degrees means that we stop holding on to and bringing the attention back to the source, to that which makes the experience possible in one way or another. And how we are doing that can be very different. You can just buy the question, but who is thinking that? And you already look in the other direction. Or simply by doing what you are usually doing, redirecting the attention to breathing consciously and relax. But whatever method you are using, the method is a crutch for the mind to make it easier to let go of whatever is hooking in our brain, in our consciousness, that the attention is being sucked into and turns round and round about stories of the past and the future and whatever could be, and bring it back to that consciously being aware now.
But there's really nothing that concrete that I can be consciously aware, right? Because my mind is always trying to trick me, I think, into that I have to have a specific notion in a way, and it's I listened for you such a long time, and I'm still not understanding this very basic thing. But it's for me, it feels right now. It feels more like just opening up and not doing anything, and just being present without any particularly like that. Which makes the experience possible isn't anything that I can become aware of consciously, right?
It's not something that you ever can grasp. That's for sure. It's not that it has eluded you so far and then eventually you catch it. It's simply sort of becoming aware of being conscious, becoming aware of being alive, becoming aware of that most familiar sense of presence that is actually never absent, but we overlook it all the time.
Could you say, in other words, it means doing nothing and just apart from being there, present?
Yes. Do nothing and just be. Right.
Yeah, my mind always tries to figure out a way. Yeah.
Yes.
And it's some kind of doing, and it's
Right.
very hard to just let go.
And the way is not wrong for the process of detaching with the mental obsession and turning the attention back, but then the way stops. Then there is not anything you can do about, but just let go. Or as you say, open up.
And how to stay there?
How to stay there? You cannot have a trick how to stay there. If it pulls you out, you can use your tricks to come back. But there is no way, a trick that you can now develop to after that decide I'm staying now that long. You can decide, you can intend that you want to stay in it. Nothing wrong. But how much after that you are successful with it or not, it's not something you can do. We can do prior to that, because we are doing a lot to do the opposite, and learning not to do that is a doing still, but then just being, there is no doing there.
What's the difference to cats and dogs when they're relaxed? You know, sometimes you see, yeah, dogs lying there or cats, and they seem to be perfectly at peace with the situation and relaxed.
Yes.
I mean, what's the difference?
The difference is very little, because a cat and a dog and other animals, they are then in their natural peaceful state. The difference is that in the human form, there is one more aspect there. Their conscious is self-reflective. We cannot simply be instinctively conscious, but we can be conscious of being conscious. Now, this can be both a curse and a great blessing. When we misuse it, then it becomes a curse, because then we create all our stories. We create that image of the self and think about it all the time. A cat and a dog is not doing that. A dog, I mean, our dogs, they can be very emotional for a moment. Neighbor dogs are coming and there is a lot of anger. The situation goes and it's gone. They don't sit after there in that relaxed state and brood about that bastard who has dared to come into my compound. In the moment it's there and it's gone. But we have the ability to be self-reflective, and then if that self-reflective ability is misused, that we hold on to stories and turn them around, we can create a hell that the dog or a cat cannot create for themselves. But if that ability to be conscious of being conscious is used properly, that we bring consciously the attention back to being, then there is the possibility that the experience of that can unfold magnificently. There is no limit to that. And the cat and the dog, they don't have that possibility. They don't create the troubles that we create in our mind. They don't create the hell in their psyche like humans can do, but they are cats and dogs. So on a certain level, there are more intelligent cats and less intelligent cats, and more intelligent and less intelligent dogs. But there is a certain level of consciousness, and they are naturally staying there, and that's fine. That's how they are created, and that's their experience. Whereas we have the potential in the human form to be consciously conscious, not simply instinctively conscious. And in that consciously being conscious, the experience of consciousness, the experience of the essence can unfold and unfold and unfold, and there's no limit to that.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Hari Om, Hari Om. Is there anybody else who would like to talk? You're welcome.
Hello, Werner.
Hello, Nelly.
I just want to share about what you said in the beginning about relaxation.
Yeah.
And yes, it's very close to me what you said, because I couldn't relax for a long time.
Yeah.
And even it was impossible for me to relax. But recently, I see that it became happens. That I see it, and in my first chakra, I still feel tension like it was, but in other parts of my body now I feel relaxation. So in my neck, in my jaw, in my face. Before this, it was very difficult for me. But now I really amazing that it is happening. It's like yes, it's like a miracle for me. Now I sit. It became a woman. Now I sit and my window is open and I listen to the birds singing and this. I don't know, but it's so wonderful, and it seems to me that maybe it helps me to let go too. So these sounds, these very beautiful sounds, and I don't know, but really my body became more relaxed. And very long time took. I don't know how it will be in the future, of course. I don't know, but these days I really watch it, and now I sit. I can sit even 2 hours, and I feel okay, relaxed. No, as much as I can, of course, not in all my body, but it is a really progress for me, because before it was difficult. Yeah.
Right. And it started to happen because you consciously kept on giving that impulse of relaxing even when you felt it's not relaxing. And then because you continued to do so, now it starts to manifest more and more, and it appears very amazing, while actually it's natural.
Yes, it's very natural, and I feel so much the easiness in myself, and yes, it's really very beautiful. Yes, it's yeah.
Happy
I'm
to
very
hear.
glad with it.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Werner. And maybe I wanted to ask you to tell about the trust. I don't know. I just look at my previous life and I saw that I had a lot of fear, and now I still sometimes have it. I just learn to drop it, to watch, and yeah. But I see it like I don't trust life, and especially in my previous life, when, for example, when I listen very often that close person tells me that we have no money, and something like this, I accumulated a lot of fear in myself, and I didn't know how to deal with it many years ago. Yes, I just wanted to ask you to tell about this trust to life. Yeah, maybe you can tell about it.
Well, if somebody is open for that, then you can inspire, you can support that one is opening up the heart towards trust. If one is not open, you can tell whatever you like, they won't easily trust them. But what you can do is that your trust is getting stronger and stronger. That you said previously you had much more fears, and now still the fears coming, but less, because somehow you have learned to be more connected with your essence. And the more you connect with your essence, automatically the trust is increasing, because you become aware there is something totally essential in me that cannot be hurt. And then the fear has no more foundation to get rooted. It may come, but it goes. And the more you experience that really in your life, not theoretically, but it's there for you as an experience, the more you inspire the others around you to also open up more to that trust, because even if they don't believe what you are saying, deep down something in them feels, oh, there is something solid in you, and there is the longing that they also want it. You cannot tell somebody, please trust, and then hope that they start to trust. Somehow they have to open their heart, and the best way to help them is to increase that trust yourself.
Yes, I see that I took these words too serious. Yes. And I just didn't know what to do with this. And now, of course, I see that everything goes on, that this life is really wonderful, and I don't know, but everything happens so beautiful ways. Some very beautiful ways come to solve some difficulties. I see it in my life now. Yes, now I see, but in my past, I just could trust to what I hear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, of course, if somebody has that capacity already, then if you hear from somebody whom you respect, of whom you have the feeling they are not telling you stories, and they tell you these things that you can let go and learn to trust more in life, in God, in yourself, then of course that can be inspiring. But you get the inspiration because you feel they have a certain amount of trust. If you think they are just talking and see that there is no trust there, then they are not inspiring. That's why you can, of course, talk to somebody who is in pain about it, to learn to open up, to develop a bit trust in life, but very gently. For if you go about it and try to force it, then they just make a wall and don't want to hear it anymore. But if they start more and more to feel from you, oh, it seems that you have a certain trust, and it gives you a relaxation, and it gives you a sense of fulfillment, then the heart will much easier open up.
Yes. Yes. Thank you, Werner.
You're welcome.
Hari Om.
Hari Om. Hari Om. All right. Is there anybody else who would like to say something? You're welcome to come in. What I just told to Nelly is very important. No matter what the situation, by dealing with people, trying to somehow help people. I mean, we can help on a superficial level. Somebody has nothing to eat, we can give him some food. It doesn't last long. The hunger comes back. But helping people means teaching people to help themselves, to be happier, to be more fulfilled, to be more trustful. And the best we can do for somebody else is always do it ourselves first. Develop that strength. That strength that comes from the conviction, from the experience that is there. The stronger that conviction is there, not as an intellectual conclusion, but simply because it's obvious from one's own experience, the stronger something radiates that after that helps people automatically. And then sometimes we may talk to people. And when we talk to people, if that strength is there, that talk may go much deeper. But it comes always back to ourselves. Let's make peace with ourselves. Let's bring harmony in our own experience. Let's be in touch with the essence. The more we are doing that, the greater the help we can possibly give somebody. And then how we are doing externally, the situations are in such a way different and multivarious that it's not that we have to prepare for that, how to deal with people, how to support people, how to inspire people, how to help people. The more there is harmony in us, we are at ease, at peace, the more it's simply flowing out spontaneously, adapted to the situation. Is there anyone who would like to come? You're welcome to come in. Oh. Oh no, I thought there was a message, but if there has been one, it has gone again. So.
Hi.
Yeah, you and Leora came in again. Okay, you can.
Might be a stupid question, but what does it mean if I walk in like the woods, if I take a walk there, I always try to be natural or be consciously conscious, but yeah, is it basically the same like we just discussed before, just dropping my personal concerns and history? Because my mind always try, again, to figure out a certain method to do it.
Right.
and just sometimes I just listen to the birds or look at the trees and whatever and relax.
Right.
Yeah, is that the way?
That is certainly an expression how to be natural. To be natural is not something we have to learn, actually. We just have to see what all the things that we are doing that prevent us from being natural. And there we are back again, looking at our concerns, looking at all the tensions that we are creating and letting them go, and that naturalness is simply there. And then it may express itself in so many ways that you look at the birds and the trees and the clouds and enjoy them. Or you can be in the midst of a bustling city and feel very natural, finding your way through the crowd.
So it's not a special exercise you do while walking. It's just like doing no exercise and just being there.
Right.
Okay.
Not creating unnecessarily obstacles and tensions. And there you are, naturally there.
Yeah, my mind tricks me into, do I do it right being natural?
Yeah, right. When these kind of thoughts come, then you can see this again is a mental habit that creates an obstacle, and I can just drop it.
Yeah,
right.
Like doubt.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Then there was Leora again, lighting up the. You want to come in, Leora?
Yeah. It's a question about my niece. I started meditating or guiding her through meditation.
Yes.
Relaxing meditation, and I think we met about 3 times on the Zoom.
Yeah.
And she disappeared. So I just wonder when, like, it's been like maybe 2 weeks I haven't heard from her, maybe more.
Yeah.
And sometimes I have this, this in my head about what the other person expects me to do, or I expect from myself, and what's the right thing to do. Because first of all, it's her way to disappear. I know from the history. And then I don't know, maybe she's going through a very, very difficult time. And I know she's going through a very difficult time, but even more than I know.
Yes.
So one voice says, just leave it. I mean, maybe even if I write to her something small, it will put pressure on her. I don't know that. Should I show her that I care about her? I'm sure she knows that I care about her.
Yeah.
So
Good.
one voice says, just like, send her good thoughts or just be as relaxed as you say about it within yourself. And one voice says, maybe I should write something. I don't know, really.
Right.
It
And
is
why-
going in my head. Yeah.
And why not do both? Be as relaxed as you can and send as
Yeah.
good energies as you can. And then at the same time, if you feel it's time, you can give a little sign of a contact and ask, would you like to continue, or are you continuing by yourself, or would you like that we are doing that?
No, I
Okay.
know that she wouldn't like, I know that if she would like to continue, she would contact me.
Yeah.
So obviously she either can't continue or she doesn't want to.
Or maybe she is a
maybe-
bit at the not quite decided, and your little contact may decide her to do so.
That's nice of you, but for some reason, I think it's more difficult. Maybe something bad is going on with her, and because that's why I'm saying that I don't want to send, because I don't want her to feel that I'm like pushing. I don't know. I'm confused about it, really.
Right, you don't have to be pushy, but sometimes a message, no matter what, comes then just in the right moment to help somebody, to make a decision or to take a step. So don't be afraid. Don't be after her all the time. That is perfectly right. Don't push her. But why not just give her a sign in case you feel like to pick up where we left? I'm always ready. Something.
Yeah,
in the
that's
sense.
yeah. Maybe I will. Yeah, maybe I will do that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then leave it again totally to her whether she will respond to it or not.
Yeah, then I don't feel. Then I don't have to apologize to the pushing, not pushing. It's for her to take it as she takes it.
Right, right, exactly.
And for me to write a very simple and warm
Welcome
something.
that in case she feels like to continue, you're there.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I guess I'm also afraid that something bad is going on. So I just, yeah. Maybe that's why I prefer to leave it like that. So, yeah. If she doesn't answer, it means that something really difficult is going on. So I really.
Right, and if she doesn't answer, then don't go after her, because you gave her the sign, and she will contact her in her own good time. But
yeah, it's yeah.
But nothing wrong with just mentioning, here I am, if we can continue. Huh?
Yeah, then maybe I'll get a message from her that she's fine, but only really busy or something like that. it's vacation time
whatever.
from school now. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's school vacation now, so maybe she's busy with her daughter or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, okay. Thank you, Werner.
You're welcome. I see that Niels said goodbye. Goodbye, Niels. See you another time. Wish you well. Hello, Vikas. You would like to come in?
Hello, Werner. Good afternoon
Hello.
to you.
Good afternoon.
Werner, my doubt is uh, whenever I'm with my friends, sometimes my heart chakra is open,
Yes.
but suddenly I find it closed.
Yeah.
And when it closes, then I stop talking. And then I'm just observing everybody and maybe thinking inside my mind. So, how to get over this? And is it correct thing?
Well, I mean, it's a manner of speaking that for sometimes you feel like communicating, open up, and then you say your heart chakra is open. And then maybe you feel a bit energetically more closed. If you feel that you feel closed and disassociated, then you can focus on that and relax, and maybe you feel again more that it's the energy is opening up. If it's not happening, don't worry about it. It's nothing wrong to be in the midst, and you're not with negative intentions doing that, but maybe it's just, maybe your system has had also after a moment enough of that energetic exchange and withdraws a bit. And then you observe your own energetic sensation and you observe what's going on and relax, and maybe it's opening up again and maybe not, but you don't have to sort of think that, oh, I did something wrong that this happened. Yeah.
Because this kind of thing often happens. Like if I'm in office, I get stressed out, and then I cannot feel the air, I cannot hear the birds chirping or smell. But once I go for my sports or I go for swimming, then my body relaxes, and again I start feeling everything. I start enjoying everything. So
Yeah.
I feel that is the heart chakra which is opening. Is it correct?
Well, you can say so, but don't too much try to analyze and give names. You just know your experience. And you know that you're feeling open and easily connect and you're joyous, and then sometimes it's not so easily. What is important is that you find way that you can again come out of it. You can call it that the heart chakra is opening and closing, but it's not strictly speaking ever closed, these chakras. Simply they are more or less active.
Thank you, Werner.
You're welcome. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om. Is there anybody else who would? I see Mariam. You have to unmute somehow. I don't hear you.
Hi, Werner.
Oh, now I hear you.
Nice to see you. Yeah. And I have a big question, because it's a question I'm asking myself for a long time and I have no answer. Maybe there is no answer, but I want to know what you would say. What is the soul?
What is the soul?
Yes.
Depends who is talking about it, because people use words differently. And some people mean something with the soul and some people mean something else with the soul. But now it's very popular in the more new agey type of developments that they speak about the soul all the time. And there is your pure divine self. I don't know whether those people are aware that they are talking about that. if you talk about yourself as the soul, then the soul is divine. But then some people talk about the soul and mean the subtle body, the more subtle aspects of yourself. So I cannot say you what does it mean soul, because people use the word different and mean different things.
Does it mean for you?
I'm
Or
usually don't use that word at all.
okay, but you use it like this is the pure divine self for
Yes,
you?
yes,
Okay.
right.
Yes, okay. That's interesting. Okay, that's what I thought for somehow for myself.
Actually, that's why I'm not using that word, because people use it different and mean different things. And then when I use the word, then different people understand different things.
Sure. I know it's always about the vocabulary, and the different people talk about the
Yeah.
same in different words, but then there are arguments around it. No, it's this, it's that. Okay. But then also you think that the pure divine self is related to the cosmic consciousness?
Yes, definitely. Pure divine self is the same essentially as that cosmic, timeless, spaceless oneness, the essence of all there is. And yet in that oneness, there are so many centers of perception that are connected with the all oneness, are essentially the same as the all oneness, and yet have their uniqueness. And that unique being, which is not separate from the whole rest, and yet is still unique, that is for me the soul. But I don't know whether everybody, no, I know that not everybody means that when they use the word soul.
You mean that also the uniqueness you mean is the soul, or I understood?
I mean, that being is the soul.
The being.
That soul is connected with that all oneness. That unique being is connected, is not separate. And so there is no problem that there are many, many, many beings, many, many souls. The problem is that on this level, we create that sense of separation. And then with that sense of separation, all the troubles are coming. But then when I talk like this with Advaitins and say, but this is still somehow duality, but non-duality is also a pointer to reality. And duality that is not separate from non-duality, I think that's the subtlest concept that we can somehow grasp. That it's one, and at the same time, it's multiple. It's many simultaneously. Essentially, we are all the same, and yet that uniqueness is still there in that being. And that being is for me what I would call the soul, but I know that other people use the word differently.
Yeah. Yeah, beautiful. And the energy, because we talk a lot about energy, right? And do you say that the emotions are energy, and also thoughts are kind of an energy? Our body is a gross way of energy as well, or the subtle body? Yeah.
Definitely. And all in manifestation is based on energy.
Yeah. I read somewhere it's moving information. Then I thought it's so interesting because I think it's only because my way of thinking is used to put it in concepts and to localize it, somehow, that the self is also energy, but you cannot put it in a location somehow, no? I mean, it's like here I am this energy as well, and have the connection to the cosmic consciousness, to the self, however you call it. But it's not in one point in my body or somewhere. It's
no,
it's
not so. It's not somewhere more than in other places.
Yeah.
But you can use a center just as a help for the mind to connect with the essence. Yeah. It doesn't mean that after that you have to limit yourself to that point. It's more like it's a help for the mind to bring the attention in the right direction by centering. but it's not that that self is somewhere more than somewhere else.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Nice.
You as the self are prior, indescribable, and your first expression is consciousness, pure consciousness, is pure energy, and is pure love. All the three aspects are there, and out of that pure consciousness, energy, love, there comes the whole manifestation.
Mm.
But you, as the essence, as the self, are prior to that. Even the pure consciousness, the pure love, the pure energy is already an expression of that mystery, what you are.
Yeah, beautiful.
And we can connect with that essence, focusing more on consciousness or focusing more on energy or focusing more on love. It doesn't really matter. You can do from the beginning in a combined way, but even if you pick out one of them and you are getting deeper, the other two aspects automatically will flow in, or it has to, because they belong together.
Mm. Mm. No. Thank you. Beautiful.
Shall we leave it at that?
Yes, amazing. Thank you so much.
You're
Hariom.
welcome. Hariom. Hariom. If we want to, we can maybe have another question. There is Anita. Hello, Anita.
Hello, Werner. What just came up in my mind is this, what you sometimes say. Yeah, and this question is if you can elaborate on that. You say you're not even incarnated.
Yes.
Yeah, what do you mean with that?
What I mean with that is exactly what I say.
I don't understand. How do you mean it?
I mean that you, as a being, are timeless, spaceless. You're prior to time, prior to space, prior to any manifestation. And that essential reality of you is not changing. Now, from you, an aspect of you can be projected in this time-space continuum. And, for example, manifest as a human being on this earth. But that is not what you are, that is a projection of what you are. It's an aspect of what you are. But you can then, when we grow up, we have the tendency to totally identify with that aspect, with that projection, and say, that's what I am. But actually, that's simply what we have gotten used to identify with. But we can catch that I am feeling in that person that I think that I am, and just be quiet and stay with that I am, and it sinks back to where that I am comes to that aspect of you that is not incarnated, that is prior to time and space.
And that means also it will also never incarnate because it's not possible.
It will not
time.
incarnate. It will. It's just that it may project in this world, in that world, to collect experience, but as an essential being is not incarnated.
Okay, and then the other question would be about, because it comes very often up, this point, this issue of reincarnation. Then that would be also like something which is called reincarnation, but it's part of the dream, kind of like, because people say, does it exist, does it not exist? I guess it does exist, but on this other realm, on this kind of Maya realm. Is it right?
Since you are not incarnated now, you don't have past incarnations or future incarnations. But that being that is projecting in this world can project again. Now the new projection is not strictly speaking a reincarnation of the previous projection. Still there is a connection that is special, and sometimes laterally from one projection to another, some conscious connection may happen and people say, I'm remembering my past life. But then they identifying with the person now and then identifying with another person that had been projected before and say that was me in a past life. So in a way it's true, but in reality, since there is no incarnation even now, how could there be reincarnation?
What reincarnation of the projected?
Usually the projection is simply reabsorbed. It can be that the projection remains for some time and may manifest again before being absorbed, but this is not the usual way. Usually it's being absorbed, a new projection will be formed, which is not exactly a reincarnation of the old projection. And still is coming out of the same being, so has a special connection with that previous projection.
Because there is this how to say this in the spiritual world, this saying that we have to come to life again and again to learn, and we have been here thousands for lives, and we have to evolve and learn, and that would mean there is reincarnation, or that there is some kind of something that does evolve. And
essentially you are remaining the same. The experience of that essential reality keeps on evolving, expanding, and there's no limit to that. The traditional theory is that you have to go through all these lives. Some start on the human level, some start on the animal level, some start on the plant level, or some start even on the mineral level, that through enormous amount of incarnations, gradually consciousness develops. It is a theory to give the people an answer for a question they would like to understand. But it's certainly coming closer to reality than the teaching that you are just now, you are this being incarnated, and it depends how you behave, then either you go to heaven or to hell, and the end of the story. And I can say the reincarnation theory is closer to reality, but still it's a theory trying to put something in a very concrete way that cannot be put in such a concrete way.
Mhm.
The two schools that seems to contradict each other, that are I'm talking now about the Indian basic two schools seeming to oppose themselves. One, it says Advaita, there is only that one reality that is real, all else is illusion, and that reality never changes. And then there is that other school who talks about beings who keep on evolving and expanding. And they seem to be contradiction, but they are not, they are both happening. Essentially, you are not changing, you are that. But yet, in spite of that, the experience of that can change and is evolving, expanding. But I don't believe in that, what the traditional theory would say of that compulsion. And with that compulsion, there is also a lot of punishment. You behave bad and then you are being punished with bad circumstances and all that. I don't believe one moment. In reality, there is not, punishment is totally a human concept. In reality, there is a being may decide, okay, I'm putting myself in difficult situation because there are lessons that are beneficial for me to learn. And it's not compelled by any law to incarnate and incarnate and incarnate and incarnate thousands of times.
Okay. Thank you.
Anyhow, we have to deal with this present situation and not worry about past and future incarnations.
That's
Shall we
right.
leave it at that?
Yes, yes. Thank
All
you.
right. Hari Om. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Okay, let's stop the satsang for today with that. I wish you all well. Hari Om. Hari Om. Hari Om.